Welcome back to Against My Better Judgment, the podcast where two friends,
I'm Tamara Golden.
and I'm Dannelle Whiteside, tell the truth, share the lessons, and laugh about the moments that we knew better but did it anyway. Every week we share real stories about our lives, about the time that life surprised us, stretched us, or just straight up humbled us, and what we learned along the way.
And this season is How I Learned. How we learned life lessons, how we learned lessons as we navigate corporate America, how we learned just simply to be a good neighbor. So, and this particular episode hits close to home for many of us, but it's how I learned that being broke isn't for me.
And me either, girl. But before we go to this story, how has the week been for you?
It has been a different sort of a week. I am learning how to really listen and respond to what I hear. So I have a couple of friends that are really going through some life challenges, and it's very difficult for me to respect their decisions. Like I want to visit. And I want to check in. I want to bring food. And they don't want that. And while it's very difficult for me, it's learning a lesson of you are better help for people when you give them what they flat out ask for. And so it's something I'm really struggling with that because I'm such a doer and a hands-on type friend. So
yeah, that's hard. I'm the same way. Like if you don't have to say anything, like you can just say, hey, I'm having a bad day. And I'm like, okay, how can I help you? And it's hard sometimes when people don't accept the help. But like, for instance, I had a friend who had a loss, and I was trying to be there for this friend, and they had very specific boundaries. And so I just had to realize, like, it's not about me.
Yep. And that I am very helpful by what I perceive as not being helpful. And it's a discipline. It's really hard, but you respect your friends and your friendship by honoring what it is they want from you, even if it doesn't feel good to you, because I am not the one sick here.
Yeah.
So.
And in the moment when you just have to swallow your pride and say, okay, it's not about me, and I will respect what you have said. And then later when they have needed me, they've reached out.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to be there. So that is a tough lesson, but a real one.
Yep.
For me this week, I have had a breakthrough. I am no longer pumping. Yes. So as you can see, I have a high neck sweater on.
No easy access.
I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Awesome. I was not expecting that.
I have,
Thank you, Ronan.
Thank you, Ronan. Ronan turned a year old recently, and grow your teeth. But I will say, it was not easy. I was definitely
not easy for
it
who?
Wasn't easy for me.
I feel like that's going to be a whole segment. So.
It could be. Yeah, it was not easy. I could make that a segment just about,
Yeah, because I'm not going to ask any more questions on
momming, and breastfeeding / nursing. Like, it was a whole thing. But anyway, your girl is free.
I like it. I like this fit.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
So, you mentioned that today's episode is how you learned that broke isn't for you. So what is it?
Yeah. So it's part of it is how I'm wired. So as I reflected on this particular topic, I was always wired. I just always needed money that was mine in my pocket. And I think when I say broke isn't for me is I was at an event and someone told me their why. And they were explaining their why about the way they were brought up and et cetera, et cetera. And it made me reflect on the fact that, I have a different type of why, but I came from modest means. And I like to use the word modest means because people don't know what poor is, and most people aren't poor. And we certainly we're not poor, because when you think about poor, that's devoid of love, support, all sorts of things.
Right.
So I did not grow up poor at all. I did grow up with what I'd like to say modest means. And I watched my parents always have enough money for the month. They worked really hard. My dad would he'd be mopping school floors by day and digging graves by night, DJing. Mom was cashiering, all kinds of stuff. And the way I saw them work compared to the amount of money it felt like we had versus the way I saw some of my friends work in school compared to the amount of money they had, it just really didn't add up to me. I'm like, my parents are working way harder than you. And it doesn't feel like we have as many means. And
so your friends, their parents were not working as hard, but they had more money.
Through my eyes as a
in
kid.
your eyes, and versus your parents who were working so hard and didn't have as much money as the friends.
Correct.
Parents. Okay.
Correct. And so I saw this just as I just saw this percolate through life, and it just frankly was not making sense to me, because I was raised in a family with modest means, but I felt very wealthy too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because you had love and what you needed,
and I had that sacrificial dollar. Like, if we got $5 left and Tammy needs money for lunch, which is a field trip lunch, then I got that sacrificial $5 that was left a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And so I grew up with a mindset that if I can just not be broke. And so at a very young age, I would save my money. Like, I would save whatever I got for making A's. We got money for making A's at my house. We got money. We got an allowance when we could have. It wasn't necessarily an allowance every week, but if dad had some extra or some overtime or something like that, we got an allowance. So I always saved my money because I always wanted to. It was just something I liked money. And I've got the thinking about, okay, the money that I'm making, how am I going to make it stretch? Because these A's and B's, that ain't it. That's not enough. This allowance, it's not, I need to have a talk with my parents.
Give you a raise.
Correct. So I got to thinking, I was like, I can loan this money out. And I had an uncle. Everybody has one. Well, maybe not, but I do. I had two uncles that at even given time, they were going to be broke before the end of the month. It was just a fact. And I was like, this might be an opportunity.
This is hilarious.
So what I learned is my dad was loaning money to one of his brothers routinely.
You telling the business.
And so, yeah, I am. So I'm like, I'm about to get in on this. So one particular day, strategically, I knew that my uncle was looking for my dad. And I was like, I got $40. Like, I just slipped it out like, I got $40. And my dad hadn't come outside yet. He hadn't recognized that my uncle was here yet. I got $40. My uncle said, you got $40. So he then said, if you give me that $40 today, for $40 today, I will give you $80 next week. That. I was like, oh my.
Girl.
I thought I'd get and number one, I didn't really want to give up my whole 40. I really only want to give up 20. But when he said that, I thought it would get like 45, 50.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, double. I was like, bet. And I'm not going to tell my uncle's name, but I said, all right, bet. So unbeknownst to my dad, my mom, I gave my uncle this $40.
Did he pay you back?
That week came around. If this man didn't show up with he may have given me 90 because he forgot. I think he gave me 90 back. I was like, this is crazy, right? So I was like, okay.
You asked him how he was getting the money. Not important.
irrelevant. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be broke. My allowance not enough. I don't, okay, this is going to work for me. So now I have $90. Now the word's out. Like, I'm loaning money now. Like, this is a new business. So here comes my uncle. But the key was to beat my uncle to my dad, because my dad couldn't find out about this shit. So this time I was still a little nervous because it was almost unreal. So I was like, I got $20. You give me $20, I'll give you 40 back. I'm like, no, I really need this $20 this time because I got a field trip. All right, you give me that $20, I give you 50 back. I said, all right, bet. So I give him that.
You are learning.
I give him that $20. He gives me 50 back. All right, 3 or 4 weeks come back, and again I'm like, okay, he's paid me back each time. So I'm trying to up it. So now I feel my risk, and I'm like, okay, man, I got $60. It's like, in the math. Like, it never was double. It was just always something ridiculous.
Random,
It was never like, okay, every time you're going to double my money. So I was like, okay, I think it was $50. And I was like, I got $50. He's like, all right, you give me that $50, I'm going to give you $150 back. Kid you not. I said, all right, bet. So about 2 weeks passed, and I can't see this uncle. I'm going to continue to call him uncle. No. So now I'm fighting mad too. I mean, I am mad. I am
but
mad.
At this point, you had already made a lot of money off of him.
But that didn't matter. So here he comes back finally one day, and he got me like $30. And I'm like, whoa.
This one,
no,
you did not agree to
You hadn't
this.
even made me whole yet from the 50. I was like, no, this ain't gonna work. And he's like, well, that's all I got, Tammy, because they call me Tammy. My family calls me Tammy. I was like, well, I don't know. You're gonna have to find that 120. All right. So, and I'm mad. I'm serious. Like, I would have whooped my uncle if I could. Like, I'm serious. So he was like, no, this what you get. And I was like, no, this ain't what we get. Had to do it.
You told your daddy.
Sure did. I said, I'm crying. I'm hurt. I'm crying. I'm upset. I'm like, Daddy, Uncle, look, this is how it went down. So now I got to tell it all. And, man.
What did your daddy say? Say it in his voice. Because our daddy is hilarious.
He is funny. He's like, now, come again now? I was like, yeah, Uncle so-and-so then. That sucker. You mean that sucker? Oh, gotcha. He said some other stuff too. And I was like, yeah, he got and I didn't say what we loaned. I said, he got my money. He got my $120. No, that's, girl, do you know they fought? Girl, my dad was bruiser. Girl, they flat out fought. Man,
you caused the rift in your family.
No,
I mean, it wasn't
no,
you.
Now my
your uncle
that
didn't come due.
All right, let's just say this though, It took a while, but I got my $120. So what I learned is I didn't want to be broke. I figured out a way to make fast money, and this is that lesson in fast money that doesn't make sense. And then I learned so many things I can learn about myself through this. So I was like, okay, so that's not going to work. Like after the fight, and we'll just call it the fight because it was the fight. After the fight, I decided that I would start a ironing business. So I'm like, okay,
to make an honest living.
Well, that wasn't honest living, but I decided that I'd do something like I had an ironing board I can iron, and another uncle, I ironed his uniforms. Press them, starch them. And let's just say I was being lowballed. So my daddy got me out of that business. But the whole point of it is that at a very young age, I did not want to be broke. And I did not want to just not have something that I needed or wanted. And a lot of it was birthed by parents who I had no idea. I thought we were rich. And I need to figure out a money to that wealth, like a means to that wealth. So it's just I just didn't want to be broke.
Girl, that is so funny that you were a loan shark at a young age. My orientation to money is a little bit different from that.
Just a little.
Yeah. And I guess it does come from a place of privilege. Like we grew up middle class. You know, we had two professional parents. And so I just wrote this actually in a paper for my doctorate the other day, that I never had all of what I wanted, but I always had what I needed. And so one time my uncle told me this. He said that money is currency. It's called currency because it flows. It flows in and out. And so I have always known that I will have money. And I also know that you have to work hard to get it. Like, you have to work to do it, but I have never not had money. I've been broke, but I've never been at a place of brokenness where I could not make a meal, make a payment, make ends meet. And I know that it's from a place of privilege, because I know that not everybody has that experience in their life. But I will say that I remember as a young child, because people's money habits develop and their thoughts about money develop early, kind of what you were saying, that there was a scripture that my pastor talked about, how Solomon was wise. And because he was wise, he had riches that came to him. And when from a young child to me, I don't know what it was, but I was like, okay, then I want to be wise.
That's interesting. What sticks.
It was, yeah. And so, like, ever since then, I have been, I guess, pursuing wisdom. And because of that, I feel like that has happened for me, that my wisdom has been the very thing that has been lucrative in my life. Like, being a wise counsel is my bread and butter. Being able to advise people in a way that is wise, because there's knowledge, there's factual knowledge, but then being able to apply that using wisdom is a whole different skill set. And so because of that, I feel like I've always had what I needed because I've had wisdom. Now, I have not always managed my money well, and that's something where we are different. Like, your natural orientation, I believe, is to save. My orientation is to spend. So this is something that me and my husband always like, because he's like, no, wait, I thought we had this money. And I'm like, we did, but I also wanted to go to this concert and this show and out of town. He's like, now, wait a minute. Yeah. So I understand. And I've had to work over the years to learn how to be a better steward of the money that God has given me. But I just feel like wealth has come to me because of my wisdom.
And I think it's coming full circle and I think wealth came to me because of the wisdom that I received from wise people. Like, I even think about my parents. They raised us in a house where we felt so doggone rich, in that, like, Dad was strategic in that he would teach us lessons. Like, we would collect tin cans all summer, and then July 4th, he'd drive us to cash them in, and that money was our fireworks money. That was, so he was teaching us the responsibility of recycling before recycling was cool. He was teaching us not to throw stuff out on the ground, and then he was also teaching us, like, you're really saving up for these fireworks that we were going to use for that money. And then when I think about even my mother making the decision to stay home with us for a period until I got to kindergarten, and her figuring out how to take this bundle of money to feed this family and then to pay this rent, to keep our lights were always on. Like, I think about the wisdom that they had that I witnessed. And I'm like, they did it with this. Surely I can do it with this. And the other part of that not being broke is that I find with my family is that because they were not broke, the people that touched them were not broke. Like they taught me that we are not broke, so you will eat with us today. You will be fed. Like everybody ate. If one person eats, we all eat. And I just thought that it was a remarkable lesson to understand that, and even in today's age, like we should all be eating, right?
Yeah, there's enough to go around, and you are blessed to bless others. So the things that you get, the things that you work for, the things that are given to you, our orientation should be to give from your overflow. And don't be stingy with that overflow. Like you are blessed with overflow to be able to flow into and pour into somebody else's life. Yep. So we ain't broke.
We are not broke.
And broke is not for us.
No.
So let's go to our We'll Be the Judge segment. And this week is from a listener. She actually signed her email clocked in and over it, which is funny.
Clocked in and over it. Mm-hmm. Oh, this sounds like she's at work.
Yeah, it is. So she says...
And hourly, because she's clocked in.
I hope not. Well,
she's clocked in.
She's clocked in. She came me hourly because I guess what she's saying.
Okay.
Hi, Dannelle and Tamara. Love the show. Here's my situation. I work in a small office, 15 people max. We all share one open calendar for vacation and PTO days. Last month, I put in for 2 days off for a long weekend. It was approved. The day before I left, a coworker pulled me aside and said, people are talking about how often you take time off, right? Mind you, I had only taken 4 days all year. Fast forward, I found out she actually went to our supervisor and expressed concern about how much time I've been out of the office. I was shocked. It's my earned time. I didn't break any rules, but now I feel awkward using my PTO. Am I wrong for wanting to address this directly? Is this HR territory or just office pettiness that I need to get over?
So we have a PTO czar, a PTO snitch. And what do snitches get?
Oh my goodness.
My goodness.
You cannot advocate for her to go beat up her coworker.
Well, I'm not going to do that. But so it's a lot packed. It's so much packed into this one. And first off, I am going to go there because I am doing so there is a church, and I will send a shout out to Watson Grove because I've been stealing their time because they started a series on habits. And I'm not a member of Watson Grove, but they have wrapped me in to this series on habits. And one of the habits was basically, I will just sum it up as say something. Like, say something. You can't go through, and because I was of the opinion at first, like, if this person matters to you enough, address her, what have you. But if this is some just random person that's always going to troll you, that doesn't matter, go on, don't let them see you sweat and go on with it. But now, after hearing that, I just think that I do believe that not everyone needs to hear what I think. But if you are talking to me and you are speaking about me, I do think that we should be empowered to say something. And I think the something that needs to be said here needs to be directly to the PTO snitch. As far as HR has a role. If you're doing something that's running afoul, then it's HR's job to come to you. But what I'm not going to do is highlight something in HR that HR may not even be thinking about, right? So I just go with, you owe it to you to say something when you're collected and you have thought out what you're going to say and you have worked through your feelings. Because what we're not going to do is be on involuntary PTO because you've act inappropriately at the workplace.
Okay. So you're saying address it with the person.
The snitch. Like let's call it what it is.
What's your conversation?
Huh?
What's the conversation?
I think the conversation is, it has come to my attention because I'm calm now. It has come to my attention that there are some concerns with regards to the proper use of PTO. My understanding is I can use it in this way. Do you have a different understanding of that? I wouldn't address that I haven't used a lot. I wouldn't address any of that. I'd just say my understanding. Do you have a different understanding of that? Because then all of a sudden you get Porky Pigs, blah, 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 blah. You know, they can't get their words out. So then you haven't attacked anyone. You're almost empowering that person to act like they're educating you a little bit. And then hear what they say. And then I'd even say, so the proper protocols when there's an issue with PTO, I think I'm a little fuzzy on that. What are they? It also matters the rank of the person speaking to you.
Yeah.
Are we sitting here eating Lunchables together every day and kikiing? Or are you my director or my manager or a leader? Like, so it also matters what that relationship is. And I'm not so sure Clocked Out has told us that.
I'm going to tell you, I firmly believe in doing my job and leaving people alone. Like, so get out of my business. Like, why are you watching what I'm doing? And then going to talk to my supervisor about it. Like, are we children here? As long as your job is done and my doing my job is not affecting your job, like, the PTO was approved. Everybody knew I was going. She said that she's only taking 4 days all year, which is a shame because you need to be taking more days than that.
Well, unless our calendar year began October 1.
I get, well, that's true. Okay, maybe. But
we
still,
don't know enough.
If you took 4 days all year, you need to be taking more. I know. Yeah. Anyway, but I definitely would advocate for you having a respectful conversation with said coworker. And I would even go a little bit further and, say, hey, it was told to me that you had an issue with my taking PTO. Is this impacting your ability to do your job? Like, is there a project we're working on together that you think if I'm not there for, it won't get turned in on time? Like, help me understand why this is an issue for you. Because me taking PTO, if it doesn't affect you, you should not care. And
do you have an unfiltered? Do you have an unfiltered version? Unfiltered response?
I can't say it on this podcast.
I was just checking.
It's gonna start with look. Look here, lady. Mind your business.
But you know what? I'm still gonna go with snitches. Get that? I mean. Moving on. So no, I'm sorry. Clocked in, and who's this from?
Clocked in
and don't care.
And over it.
Clocked in and over it.
Because
yeah,
it's nothing worse than having people be petty and looking at your every move. Like it's annoying.
Address it,
especially because you're doing your job, and you should be able to take leave without anybody's business.
My whole thing, even if you're not doing your job, it's approved. It's approved. And when you get it's approved. Like none of that. It's approved. Yeah. Boo. So, but realistically speaking, you definitely are going to have to address the issue with her. Yeah.
And if she continues to be all in your business, then go to her boss and mention this, and then go to HR. And you might just want to type a little memo to HR like, hey, I had this conversation with such and such.
Yeah.
Because what I don't know is who you are, your racial makeup, the person who reported it. And so I hate to bring race in it, but sometimes if you're a black woman and you have a direct conversation with someone who is not also a black woman, they can try to call us aggressive and all that. So, just send a little note to HR, hey, I had this conversation. I was respectful. Here's what I said, just so you know.
There's one thing that I would do a little differently is if it came to coming to her boss, I would go to my supervisor with the situation first. And if my supervisor couldn't handle it or gave me instruction to go to his or her boss, I'd do that. And just see how it works out. But good luck with that. And you know what? I hope you enjoy your PTO.
Yeah. Be sipping. I don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
But wherever you're going.
Let's do it.
Don't give her a single thought. Enjoy your.
Yeah.
I'm imagining you're going to be on the beach.
Send us a picture on Instagram.
A pina colada with a little umbrella.
Yeah. Open your eyes, Dannelle. Open your eyes.
I'm imagining.
Jeez.
So, I hope you sip it and enjoy your time off because you deserve.
Can't wait. Can't wait. So it's time for our namesake segment.
Yes.
Against my better judgment. Dannelle, what has happened that you did that was totally against your better judgment? Take it away.
Yes. So I have an allergy kid.
What's that?
Shannon has food allergies. Specifically peanuts, cashews, pistachios, shellfish, and finfish. We talked about this a little bit with the episode we talked about.
Shellfish aren't peanuts.
Huh?
You said a nut allergy.
Yeah, peanuts, cashews, pistachios, shellfish. And
shellfish
finfish.
aren't peanuts.
No, they're not.
You're the one said it was a nut allergy.
He's also allergic to shellfish.
See, that's why you can't have a one-on-one conversation with people, because HR is going to say that you're aggressive. Like right now, this is very aggressive.
I'm trying to figure out what you didn't hear what I said.
I heard allergic to nuts, and then you're going to name fish. So he's allergic to nuts and fish.
Yes. So
see what I mean
right here. Anyway,
now I'm mad.
He's allergic to peanuts, cashews, pistachios, shellfish, and finfish. Okay.
Finfish.
Yes, like salmon, trout. So he cannot do any fish versus shellfish, shrimp, crab, mussels. None of that.
Don't all fish have fins?
No. Shrimp. When have you seen a shrimp with a fin on it?
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
Carry on.
Please. Thank you. So anyway, against my better judgment, I ordered something at a restaurant that my child is allergic to. And the reason why it was against my better judgment is, and he's 4 years old. So I had taken them to a milkshake bar and I ordered a milkshake, and it was an Oreo. It was like a cookies and cream milkshake, and it had like this drizzle over the top. And I thought the drizzle was caramel.
Okay.
So we sat down. He had his ice cream. Donovan had his ice cream, and we were eating. And I took the Oreo because the cookies and cream milkshake had little Oreo stuck in it, and with the drizzle on top.
Okay.
And so I took out the 2 Oreos and I put them on my plate because I was going to eat them when I finished my milkshake.
Correct.
So, and even Donovan asked me, could he have one of my Oreos? And I said, no, because you got ice cream. So get out of my stuff.
Right.
So I turned around and I turned my head to look at something because I think I had taken Ronan out the stroller and he was kind of walking around the restaurant. So I was kind of looking at him to see what he was doing. And I turned around and Shannon has bitten he picked up my Oreo and bit it.
Slick with it.
Slick. So something said, just make sure what was in that Oreo, the shake that you got. And I turned around and looked at the board with the description, and it said peanut sauce. That drizzle was not caramel. It was peanut sauce.
So what happened?
So I looked at him, and then I could see his top, above his lip, just kind of getting swollen. And then all of a sudden his eyes started swelling. He started just scratch, pretty much clawing his face. He actually had 2 open
who done
scratches. So, I carried my EpiPen. I carried the EpiPen with me at all times. And so I was like, sorry, buddy, it's going to hurt. But, so I injected him with the Epi. And then we went to the ER. So we were in the ER for 3 hours because they have to, once you get there, they ask you, did you administer the Epi? We did. And then they said, well, we have to monitor him for a couple hours. They gave him Benadryl, which helped calm down the itching and everything, and his eyes being swollen. And then they let us go. So, typically he's really good at, he'll ask, does this have peanuts in it? And he won't eat things that he knows he cannot have. But I think because he was with me, and typically I don't have food around me that he cannot eat, I think he probably just thought, oh, it's okay to eat this. And so he needs to learn, you don't eat food that's not yours because you have an allergy and you never know what somebody else has. But then I just said, I'm not going to order food that he cannot eat around me until he gets old enough and I can trust that he won't be eating off my plate.
Do you think he learned?
I hope so. I mean, he kept saying he was sad because it was like we had a day. It was just me and the boys. And so we were out. We were in downtown Nashville having a really good time. And we had to cut it short. We actually were going to go to this other like arcade place to play. That was going to be our last stop before we went home. And so he was like, I'm sad. And I think he realized that, you know, we had to change our plans because of, you know, the mistake. And so I hope that he learned from that. And I think also for parents who have kids with allergies, or if you have allergies, make sure you have the EpiPen because you just never know when you're going to need it. Don't hesitate to use it. Like once I saw him having that reaction, I just gave it to him. And one of the nurses, when we got him there, was like, I'm glad you did it. She was like, most parents are afraid to use the EpiPen even though they have it because, you know, you're like sticking something.
You just and push.
Yep, pretty much. They're designed to be really easy use. So, but I'm assuming that it's a pretty big needle and it hurts. You know, it's like a shot. And so you just have to be prepared because you just never know when something is going to be in a person's food that has an allergy, and you just got to be ready to do what you got to do.
Yeah, check that expiration date on those EpiPens too.
Yeah, but I did hear, and this is not medical advice, but I did talk to my child's allergist, and they said that there's some research out there that says you can use it up to 2 years after, and it still has efficacy. Okay. So,
if you want to risk it,
don't risk it. But I'm just saying, even if you have an expired one, if someone's in an emergency situation, go ahead and use it because you could be saving their life.
Nope.
So
I like it.
Anyway, we talked.
Get better soon, Shannon.
He's fine.
Okay.
Like we left the hospital and he was back bouncing
He's like,
around,
oh, about that arcade.
Okay. Yeah. Donovan definitely was like, so Sunday, are we going to go back? I'm like,
so
no.
About you, Shannon, you not going, but Tara.
Yep. So anyway, thanks for being with us. Save your money.
Yeah.
Save your sanity by taking PTO and listening to what other people said.
Yep. And save your expired EpiPens.
Yep. Do that.
But no, we really, really enjoyed you all. Again, continue to keep your notes and messages coming to us at againstmybetterjudgmentpod@gmail.com. We love these listener questions and stories so that we could be the judge. Also, after you're listening to us, give us thumbs up, give us high fives. And by high fives, we want 5 stars. But ultimately, thanks for supporting us. Can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you. And follow us on Instagram at Against My Better Judgment Pod and on Facebook at Against My Better Judgment Pod. And we'll see you next time.
All right.